line to describe me is jack of all, master of none. So that's the best line to describe me. So I was lot into sports. बास्केटबॉल नेशनल्स तक खेला छोड़ दिया चेस भी स्टेट लेवल चैंपियन रह चुका हूँ आई लेफ्ट इट एंड आफ्टर दैट डैड को बोला कि 11 12 में आई वांट टू गो टू बोर्डिंग स्कूल मसूरी में चला जाऊंगा बोर्डिंग स्कूल डैड ने राजस्थान बॉयज हॉस्टल में भेज दिया सो आफ्टर दैट वहाँ जाने के बाद we didn't get laptop or phones. They weren't the resource that we used to get at our ease. So we used to get that once a week for 1 hour. And during that point in time, I used to scroll Google, no million, YouTube. So in that, I saw a lot of things. I saw the term called startup. What exactly is it? And I saw that people are raising funds left, right, and center. And I was like, I also form a startup. And I formed, so I'm a programmer, so I built a platform called StudentX, which the purpose of it was to connect student groups and colleges or institutions where they can, find people to perform like-minded activities. पर वो ज़्यादा देर चला नहीं, दिन में बंद हो गया. The reason was, all of these cost money. Even for me to relate on AWS server cost me money. And dad was like, "Padhai pe dhyan de." So after that, when I was exploring what exactly is the problem with financing, somebody told me the word angel investor. So when somebody told me that what angel investor is, वो पैसे डालते हैं, जो आइडिया पेपर पे भी वो पैसे डालते हैं. तो मैं फुल ताव में आके मैं ईमेल्स करने लग गया. एंजल इन्वेस्टर्स की एक लिस्ट बनाई, found their emails through CRMs and started emailing left, right and center. मैं देख रहा हूँ 3 महीने में मैंने जो 60 emails भेजे एक भी रिस्पॉन्स नहीं आया. पर in my emails I used to put mail track. So I knew how many times a person is opening the email, पढ़ रहा है, लिंक क्लिक कर रहा है. सारे इन्वेस्टर ओपन कर रहे हैं मेरी emails, एक भी रिस्पॉन्ड नहीं कर रहा. I was like trying to figure out what the problem is. So then, people told me that, how much time that investors spend on email and, how many emails they get in a day. It's a lot. So expecting a response to each and every email is inhuman. Then I was like, yeah, we need a response to check. And I wanted to understand, is this specifically me? क्योंकि मैं 17 साल का बच्चा हूँ जो लिख दिया ईमेल की मुझे 50 लाख 1 करोड़ फंडिंग चाहिए, तो उसके वजह से हुआ. तो I used to ask startups, is this a problem that you guys are also facing or is it just me? So then startups told me, no, fundraising is a laborious process. It takes time, it takes energy, and it's a lot of hard work. Then I found it a bit foolish. That, why is it such a huge process? Every fund that wants to invest, every investor where they want to invest, they know what they want to invest in, which stage they want to invest in. They just need the right set of startups to approach them. So I started collecting investor data. कि कौन किसे कितने एज में कैमरे में पास निकला. So कौन किसे कौन से स्टेज में इन्वेस्ट करना है. So I wanted investors' time over there, but investors did not give me time of day. So what did I do? I used a simple human psychology. What do people like the most? Tell me. Any guesses? What do people like the most? नहीं वो तो है. अभी जो मैं कर रहा हूँ क्या कर रहा हूँ? हाँ? बात किसके बारे में बात कर रहा हूँ? अपने बारे में. लोगों को वही पसंद है. तो मैंने भी पॉडकास्ट शुरू किया. लोगों को बोला कि आई वांट टू इंटरव्यू योर जर्नी एंड आई वांट 1 hour. तो आई टोल्ड इन्वेस्टर्स कि 50 मिनट तुम बात करो, लास्ट के 10 मिनट मैं बात करूंगा. एंड इन दैट 10 minutes आई यूज्ड टू कन्विंस देम, गिव मी योर डेटा सेट, गिव मी योर क्राइटेरिया, आई विल गेट यू स्टार्टअप्स. एंड वैसे बनाते बनाते राइट नाउ स्कोप हैज अराउंड 20,000 एंजल इन्वेस्टर्स, 475 VC funds across the globe, and 18 sovereign funds which manage $1 billion plus in AUM.
That's really motivating, especially for students like us who are still figuring out our first steps. Now, speaking of beginnings, could you share a moment from your early entrepreneurial days that was particularly memorable or transformative?
Memorable. Nice question. I need to think. Memorable is when I got the first crack of my first investment. So I raised my first investment of 300K USD from Satya sir. He's my first angel investor. So I approached him for 4 months. I emailed him non-stop, har din. Did not get any response back. At the end of 4 months, I got one response from his office that please don't email to his direct inbox. उसके बाद आई वॉज आफ्टर दैट आई स्टॉप फॉर 3 मंथ्स. मैंने छोड़ दिया. मैंने बोला चलो ठीक है 3 महीने बाद करते हैं. तो I in 3 months I focused on the milestones I need to hit that which might get me into a meeting with Satya Nadella sir. So in 3 months I focused on clients, I focused on building a sales pipeline and everything. I did everything. So after that 3 months back I again approached, emailed for around 1.5 months. And उसके बाद I got an email. Can you fly to Bangalore and meet Microsoft India head ईरानीपुर से? I was like, इससे ज़्यादा खुशी की बात नहीं है. मैं पहले फ्लाइट पकड़ के भाग रहा हूँ. तो I reached immediately to Bangalore. So my meeting with Irania was scheduled for 20 minutes. We ended up spending 3 hours. And after the third hour, we closed the meeting. I went back. After a week, I get an email. Satya Nadella sir is ready to get on a call with me. I get on a call with him, and then he tells that I'll put in 300K into your business. I'm like, I don't want just 300K. I want your time. 300K मैं कहीं से भी उठा लूँगा. I want your time. Time in the sense I don't want ज्ञान. I want you as a strategic partner where your name can unlock doors for me. He's like, okay, done. So there was my first investment. So if my LinkedIn page is open, if we can scroll a bit up. Can we scroll up? Yeah, the next one. Next one. Yeah, this one. No, down. Yeah. So I was one of the youngest speakers in the B20 summit, which was held in Delhi. So, man, I was like 20 when I was there. Hoodie पहन के चला गया when everyone was wearing blazers and everything. मैं hoodie पहन के चला गया, चलो मैं बात करूँगा. So over there, Brad Smith, who's the vice chairperson of Microsoft, he meets me, and this reaction of me looking at him. So he was telling the summit members that Satya's best investment is scope. Meet this youngster, 20-year-old kid.
That's really motivating. How those early steps can shape a lifelong journey. But of course, no journey is without its share of obstacles. My next question for you is what were some of the biggest challenges you faced as a young entrepreneur and how did you overcome them?
My age. My age was and is still the biggest challenge. Okay. How many of your parents will trust you with 10,000 rupees? Raise your hands. यार मेरे तो 5,000 भी नहीं. चलो इतने तो है, चलो बच गए. So some of your parents trust you with 10,000 rupees, but if you go and ask that मुझे 10,000 rupees मुझे business के लिए चाहिए, कितने लोग के parents दे देंगे? Comparatively कम है, चलो. So that is the problem. To the people who didn't raise hands, why do you think they won't give you the money? एज ही है या कहीं और उड़ा देगा. So that is the thing. So that was the same mentality with me also when I approached any investor or anyone. Okay, the biggest challenge for capital was thinking that I was immature. I wouldn't be able to handle the stress, the pressure, or the funds in a judicious manner. Neither I will be able to hold things accountable. So that was the biggest challenge. So to break that challenge, that's why I did not approach any fund. I approached Satya sir first. But age still is a bigger challenge because when people look at your age, they forget your talent. Okay, age is just a number, but okay, majorly a person is known for their talent. Let's respect the person's talent before their age.
That's a strong message. Action, not age, defines the entrepreneur. But entrepreneurship also involves taking risks. How do you approach risks in business? What mindset or strategies do help you deal with them?
I was actually having a word with the principal ma'am regarding risks. So I'm going to say the same line over here. Okay, so what is your biggest fear when you start a venture?
Losing your capital. Losing your capital.
Okay, okay. Any other? So basically, fear of failing. Am I right? Fear of failing is your biggest fear. Okay. Now, there's a very good example to this. Okay. When I told this to my dad, okay, he told me one thing. Okay. Are you paying your school bills? नहीं. Are you paying your college? अब जब कॉलेज में जाऊंगा तब पता नहीं होगा मैं पे करूंगा आप पे करोगे देख लूंगा. Are you paying your food bills? घर का कुछ भी पे कर रहे हो तुम? No. Then what is the fear you are so worried about? You don't have your own reputation of any sort. You are respected outside because I have earned a reputation. And that is the reputation you are respected out there. So ये fear अपने दिमाग से निकाल दो कि भाई मैंने what do you say? What will happen if I fail? लोग क्या सोचेंगे? तुमने कुछ कमाया नहीं तो खो देगा. ज़्यादा से नेगेटिव में ही जाएगा. अभी तक न्यूट्रल था नेगेटिव में जाएगा वापस पॉजिटिव में आ जाएगा. But you have earned nothing that you are afraid of failing. So take that fear out. Let's not fool yourself that you have some reputation, you have this, you have that, you have nothing. That's what my dad said at that point. And if somebody asks me also the key to success or anything, okay, all the top shots or anyone I've met, okay, the two things I've seen in them: consistency and being shameless. शर्म नामक चीज साइड में रख दो, काम नहीं आती सक्सेस में.
That's truly inspiring, especially the way you turn challenges into stepping stones moving forward. For students sitting here who may be dreaming of their own startup someday, what advice would you give them?
If see, पहले तो I would ask you to go into a job only. Unless and until the startup what you want to do or any venture, that's not just startup, any venture you want to do is it's your biggest dream. It scares you at night. Okay? It keeps you awake at night. You don't need inspiration for you to pursue that dream. Then only go and do a startup. Otherwise, do not look at what media says or do not look at few instances and get inspired and do a startup. Startup is a very, very tedious journey. Okay, it will ask a lot of things from you. Okay, it will ask your patience, it will ask your time, it will ask your energy, it will ask everything from you. And then when you have nothing else left, then it will gift you. So if you have that energy, patience, hard work, consistency, all those things, okay, then you come into startup. Startup अभी न्यूज में ऐसा दिखता है कि स्टार्टअप फंड रेजिंग ब्यूटीफुल हर दिन कोई आ जाता है स्टार्टअप का फंड रेज इतने मिलियन डॉलर. It does not work that way. You don't know how many sleepless nights has the founder spent behind those millions of dollars. Okay, so startup is the only area where your consistency, your never give up attitude, and your hard work really counts.
That's so reassuring. Now, let's talk about the balance between work and life. Even as students, many of us struggle with it. As a young CEO, how do you manage to strike a balance between your professional responsibilities and your life well-being, personal well-being?
There's no work-life balance. There is no work-life balance of any sort. So, the teacher Khushbu ma'am, who had invited me here, so she has been following me. So she knows that last week I was in Stanford. I will spend my whole week in Stanford. Stanford is my college. Okay, so I was spending my time there, and I came back this week. And Bhopal, tomorrow I'm going back to Hyderabad, Hyderabad to Delhi, Delhi to back to LA. So it's non-stop travel for me. Okay, I have two offices, one in Hyderabad and another one in New York, Church Street. I employ a total of 80 people. Last year turnover was also 450 crores. So there's no work-life balance of any sort. I'm on call whenever it's required. Okay, like let me show you. Can we scroll down? No, we can go up. Yeah, we can click that one. So this was in New York, Church Street, on the billboards. So this was when I hit the youngest milestone of reaching close to like closing $500 million transaction deals. I was the youngest person in US to do that. So I was put on New York billboards for a whole day. Yeah, it was exciting. So whenever you want to achieve something, whenever you want to do something at a young age, I don't think there's anything called work-life balance. That applies at a very later age. Work-life balance concept. Okay, when you have achieved things, when you can put things on autonomous mode, then I guess work-life balance is achieved. But you don't have any of that in a very early age. So I don't consider it. I don't consider the concept of work-life balance.
Now, shifting the focus to the people behind the success. Have there been any mentors or role models that you've looked up to?
Role models, none. You never keep a role model because you'll end up disappointing yourself. And the second thing is, if you look at a role model, it turns into an inspiration. And when you have something called inspiration, you will keep on depending on it for your energy. Okay? Have mentors. Okay? My fundamental. Have mentors who can teach you, who can guide you, who can challenge you. Okay? So my two mentors are my one of course my parents. Okay, especially my mom. She's a taskmaster. Okay, most person who I'm most afraid of. Okay, and second is Kim Peril. So Kim Peril is one of my mentors from US. She initially gave me a breakthrough on entering the US market. She till date, challenges me day to day on how to make myself better, on how to work things even more efficiently. So these two are my mentors.
Mentorship really is magical. Moving ahead, what's next for Scope? Are there any upcoming projects or expansions that you're particularly excited about?
Yeah, so Scope is launching a next gen fund, which is going to focus into deep tech ventures, AI, infra, sustainability, deep tech, and everything. So it's totally a $2 billion fund, which is the first close has happened yesterday, literally before I flew off. So we have closed $500 million and we'll be launching it by the beginning of next month for deployment.
We look forward to seeing Scope soar greater heights. And finally, what are the most important lessons you've learned in your journey so far?
Important lessons in the sense, as I told, one of the key lessons that I like is being shameless. Okay? Sharam namak cheez mat rakho. That is one of my key lessons. And the second thing is, always, be hungry to learn. You can never stop learning at any age. Okay? You can learn in any format. Okay, it's not just via book, paper. It's not that. You can travel. You can learn while you're traveling. You can learn in any format. But learning should be consistent. Okay, the moment you stop learning is the moment you stop growing, and a lot of things are going to stop at that point in time. So learn and don't be afraid to take a risk. Okay, if something means a lot to you, okay, if it means a lot to you, go ahead and take a risk. ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा क्या होगा? Zero पे होगा वो. If you built something before that, if you built an empire before that, then that makes sense. Don't want to take a risk. अभी तो कोई risk ले सकते. अभी हमने कोई empire नहीं कर रखी. So you can take a risk. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Your words have really left an imprint on our hearts. Now, before we open the floor for audience questions, we would love to hear your views on a subject that resonates deeply with our generation.
Okay. So how many of you want to own a startup or start your own company? Raise your hands. Yeah, ढंग से raise कर लो. Breakfast हुआ है ना? Teachers, breakfast has happened. Okay. Okay. So if all of you are aspiring entrepreneurs or want to start a startup or want to get into top MNCs, okay? Remember one thing, okay? People do not hire or people do not promote workers. Okay? Everyone wants a leader. Okay? Everyone wants, what you're going to be asked one straight question. What is your unique quality? What is your USP? Unique selling point. What's your unique selling point? Why you over others? If you're able to answer that question, your journey into startup, your journey into any big five firm or top Google Meta, जो भी है, you will succeed. But if you're not able to justify what is your unique selling point, you will have a very tough challenge ahead. Because me and Principal Ma'am were discussing again now, how many of you aspire to go for the university abroad? How many of you looking forward to it? How many of you aim for Ivy League college? Okay. Now in Stanford or anywhere, okay, the major question is, even in your essays, okay, they might ask you the questions in a different manner, but the basic thing it pulses down to is, what is so unique about you? Why am I going to pick you over the other students who are trying to take admission into my college? So if you're able to justify that, your journey ahead becomes much, much better. So always build or ensure that you always have a unique selling point. Never forget. It will help you in your college, it will help you in your career and in your startup journey if you are looking towards a startup journey.
Thank you, sir. That was immensely insightful and relevant to all of us who are growing up in a tech-powered world.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing such a powerful and thought-provoking session with us. Your journey has truly lit a spark in every young mind present here. We now move on to the open house interaction, where our students will have the opportunity to engage with you directly. We request our student audience to kindly raise their hands, introduce themselves briefly, and ask their questions one at a time. I also request the council members to please pass on the mics. I repeat once again, raise your hands and one at a time.
Good morning, I'm Fatima Qureshi from 12D. I have a question that what skills did you develop from external exposure that you didn't learn from school?
External exposure. I mean a lot. See, I can't tell what all, but I can tell I give it in a very. I was a backbencher in my school, so I leave that to your imagination. Okay, I was a backbencher in my school. Okay, and the major thing I learned is what you're taught in school are the rules. and regulations you got to follow. What the outside world teaches you is how to be smart enough to know which rule to break. Okay?
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Gulna Sani and I have a really interesting question. What, in your opinion, are the changes that are to be made so that Indian investment sector balances with that of Silicon Valley and China? Thank you.
Take risks. See, Silicon Valley and Indian investment sector, the biggest difference is the risk appetite. In Silicon Valley, lot of people put billions and billions of dollars into R&D, research and development. Okay, and they do not worry about the returns. Okay, now OpenAI. How many of you know OpenAI? Good enough? Okay, how many of you know NVIDIA? Okay. Now you have recently heard OpenAI in NVIDIA, right? Now they were in development since 12 years, 17 years, हो गए उनमें. And during all of that period, people were just putting in money in Silicon Valley. They were just investing non-stop into their R&D. Okay, now they are getting exponential returns. In India, we lack in R&D, research and development. Okay, Sridhar Venkusar of Zoho, he has also mentioned it very clearly that in R&D, India, we do not invest a lot in R&D in India. So I guess if that is balanced out our investments into R&D, then we can compete way better in Silicon Valley because we are the brightest minds in India.
Good morning, my name is Richa Bilore. How to stay focused on long-term learning instead of just chasing short-term wins, and also how to inculcate dopamine optimization during our learning journey.
Okay, that became a simple to very technical question. But okay. Ma'am, can you please stand? So, what is your biggest dream?
To achieve to go to a success wherein I can proudly make my parents happy, and I can feel a sense of pride in my own self.
Now, if I say that you do X, Y, Z steps, okay, you study a lot, okay, you study all of the finance, you study the finance books I give it to you, okay, you spend 2 nights sleepless, okay, and after you doing all of this on the 5th day, you will become the youngest certified chartered accountant and will be on news. What will you do? Will you do exactly that? You will give up sleep. You will learn a lot. So that is how your long-term learning also works. You got to keep motivating yourself. Don't wait for motivation from outside. Okay, you got to keep motivating yourself, and you got to tell that it's just a matter of time. Okay, I got to put in more work. If it's not working, again, it does not stop. Okay?
My question for you is, how do you think AI, artificial intelligence, has or will influence the startup sector?
It's already influenced a lot. I mean, it's already there to eat my job as well. Okay, if I don't adapt to it faster. Okay, it's influenced a lot. But AI is not there to kill your job. Okay, you just gotta be smart enough to use it to your strength. Okay? People are just afraid that AI is replacing these many workers, these many layoffs. Don't focus on that. See, if you have genuine talent, okay. I was again telling to the principal ma'am here. So we were talking about, so all of you guys are looking to study abroad and you're worried about the geopolitical tensions, for example. Okay, that what's happening in US. Do you think admissions will happen that easily for Indian ethnicity? See, if you are talented and if you are valuable, whatever happens outside is not going to impact you. Similarly, is AI. Okay, you just got to be smart enough, you just got to be talented enough, and you got to have the hardworking grit enough. Okay, that's all.
Morning, sir. I'm Parvani, and I wanted to ask, as a student also get into finance, investment banking and private equity, according to you, what should I start with? Innovation, networking, skills, mindset, or something else?
So just to get the question right, so you're looking to get into investment banking.
Investment banking or private equity or anything into finance?
First thing you need to start understanding is you should be comfortable with getting uncomfortable. And you should be okay with immense amount of stress. Okay. See, there are always two sides of the coin. Okay. People always love to look at the side which is glorious, which is colorful. Okay. There's the other side of the coin as well. To get that colorful, to get that glory, what all you need to give in. So first in investment banking, try and understand their work culture. Would you like seeing yourself and working in that work culture for the next 5 to 10 years? If you're okay with that, then you start off with networking, talking to people in that industry. Okay?
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Roshita from class 11. My question is that in 10 years, how do you want people to remember your contribution as?
10 years, practically 32. Someone who can change the word impossible to I am possible. That's all.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Nirva Patel. So I wanted to ask that can you please throw some light on the early stage emotional discipline?
Early stage emotional discipline, like what would you mean by that? Yeah. Excuse me, can you handle the mic?
So like you told us that the investors were not interested or they didn't reply you. So what was your emotional journey in that?
I cried a lot. I got frustrated. Okay, now here's a bit of a thing. Okay, I'll keep it as covered as possible of how I got into Stanford. So Joyce knows it. So I first got into MUJ, Manipal University, Jaipur. Okay, I had no clue whatsoever. College kya tha. I am not an IIT candidate. I am none of those. I'm not that talented enough to get into IIT. Okay, so I got into MUJ. For 2 or 3 months, I was in that college. I did not attend a lot of lectures. Okay, and after that, I shifted myself to Delhi. I didn't go home. Okay, I did not attend college. Technically, my college dropout था 2 महीने. ठीक है, I did not tell my parents. घर वालों को किसी को नहीं बताया मैंने. उसके बाद जब मैंने सब अपना राउंड स्ट्रक्चर किया, कैपिटल रेज किया, उसके बाद मैंने फॉर्म माय बोर्ड. My board members right now are alumni of Stanford, so they helped me get into Stanford. उसके बाद I went home and I told my dad I got into Stanford, but he still till date does not know that वो 2 months के लिए drop out था. So please ma'am वो recording में निकाल लेना if you're about to post it anywhere. Okay, but yeah, so it will be a tough journey emotionally also if you're chasing your dream. Okay, but it's okay to cry. It's okay to feel disheartened, but it's not okay to give up because of it.
Good morning. I'm Nabhu Sharma from SPS Saikiran Nagar. I had a question that how did you deal with the pressure to constantly prove yourself at an area constantly dominated by older professionals?
Good question. Even I don't know the answer to it. So I basically, just whenever I felt disheartened, I used to just switch off my phone. I switch off my phone and I, 10 din, 12 din, 15 din, I won't talk to anyone. After that, I used to come back online. And then, so generally my way to, deal with such things is first disconnect, think that are they right or are you right? If I am right, go back and fight. If they are right, then address the problem that they have pointed out, fix it, and then go back. So there is no option of giving up. If you have to prove yourself, prove yourself.
So you basically tell us about the significance of USP. So my question is, what was your USP?
My USP was buying time. So the major thing is people or high profile people, okay, they used to generally give 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. मुझे बहुत अच्छी तरीके से आता है उसे 3 घंटे 2 घंटे कैसे बनाऊं और उन्हें कैसे कन्विंस करके हाँ हाँ बुलवा दूं. ठीक है, दैट वाज माय बिगेस्ट थिंग. सर फॉर इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंक तो पीपल थिंक मैंने कुछ पढ़ाई की, मैंने कोई पढ़ाई नहीं की. ठीक है, मैंने नेटवर्किंग किया, समझा. ठीक है, हाउ दिस बिजनेस एक्चुअली रन्स, हाउ मनी इज अर्न, एंड आफ्टर दैट what is the biggest thing you need in investment banking? In investment banking, you need to know how to convince people. Right.
Hi, I'm Sanvi Sharma. I want to ask you, what's that one habit that you developed when you were 15 or 16 that completely changed your journey ahead?
But repeat the question.
That completely changed your journey ahead. One habit that you developed when you were like 15 or 16.
Not to explore everything. As I was telling you, okay, perfect. So as I told you, I was more into sports. Okay, chess खेला हूँ, basketball खेला हूँ. I wasn't afraid to leave it all and go explore something new. Okay, I was not like ये मेरा comfort zone है तो मैं यही रहूँगा, इसमें already इतना कर लिया है तो why not go ahead. नहीं. I was very comfortable in exploring new things. I guess that was my one habit that changed a lot of things for me.
Sir, I am Abhijit Singh. Sir, my question is, how did you face favoritism? Like in some areas, some people choose a favorite over a person who is more skilled. Choose a person who is there, like in their network or something. So, how did you face that?
No, जरूरत गई है ही नहीं. छोड़ दिया. See, the deal, how you deal with favoritism. You can't deal with favoritism. Okay? If उसने मन ठान लिया है कि वो उसका है तो you don't lack options. There are a lot of options out there. Okay? It's best to put your time and energy in a place where you have to fight less rather than going and trying to convince, a person who's already fixed their mindset. Excuse me, somebody can give the mic, the last.
My name is Ashwini. So, in your career till now, what is the biggest challenge or fear that you have faced and overcome?
How many times I would have to listen about my age? कितनी बार मुझे लोगों से सुनना पड़ेगा, अरे ये तो बच्चा है, अरे ये अभी youngster है. How many times I have to hear that? Was my biggest challenge. And that is what I overcome. Now there are people who have come from, who are from IITs who work for me. I don't. There are people from IIT Madras who work for me. The world's youngest rocket scientist is my deep tech partner in India. I have delegated him. So now I don't fear any age factor or anything. Now I've overcome that. Initially, that was the only hurdle I had.
Good morning, sir. I'm Shivani Yadav. Sir, how a person knows that this is not the end? Are there any signs that the spark is still left? By briefly sharing your patient journey after the failures you have faced.
See, unless and until you give up, your journey does not. If you are giving up, your journey ends there and then. Okay, no matter how hard people push on you, or people try to demotivate you. I've had a lot of people try to demotivate me, who try to tell me just go back to college. There are a lot of people, but it's really up to me to decide whether I want to give up or whether I want to continue. And if I choose to continue, there's a lot of spark left.
Good afternoon, Sai. My name is Yashwadhan Singh. My question is that was there any habit that you developed as a teenager that still helps you today?
Just answer the question. Just answer that question.
Good morning, sir. I would like. Morning, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm Avni from SPS Katara Station. I wanted to ask how did you start learning about investing at this young age? Did you read any books or any websites or any courses?
I did not read any books, no websites, no courses. Okay, it was sheer, trying to get into the field and learn from people, the basics first. Okay. See, whenever people ask you to learn something, okay, the best way to learn is just go and experience it first. You might not know anything, but that is the best time to experience something when you do not know anything about it. First experience it. Do not read, or do not just read other people's experiences from a thought process in your mind, and then say that okay, this is how it's going to be, so I might avoid it. What if it's not that way that you read? The experience is completely opposite. So it's best to go experience it.
Sir, I am your senior from SPS Katara Station. I wanted to ask that what's your journey? How did you convince your parents and when did you start? When did you have the idea of building scope? When did you have the idea to own a startup?
Because scope build हुआ था when I was 15. Okay, convincing parents. Okay, so convincing parents was they have their fears, and it's for the best reasons. Okay, it's not that their fears are not justified. It's for the best reasons they have their fear, because they want you to have a safe and a secure career. Okay, they don't want to go. They don't want you to go in the wrong direction. But my parents gave me the freedom and the liberty to explore and to make mistakes. As I told you, it's important to make mistakes. If you are not making mistakes, you're not dreaming big enough. हर चीज में succeed हो रहे हो तो there's something wrong. Okay. So my parents were very comfortable with me making mistakes. They were comfortable with me taking risks. They were comfortable with me, exploring things as long as I am transparent enough to them. That's all.
Good morning, sir. I'm Vihan Srivastava. So you mentioned that only 2 years ago you received your first investment of $300,000. So in that short amount of time, what were the major steps you took that helped to multiply your company's portfolio?
2 years or 3 years ago. Again, the major steps, the major steps I took was, first focusing as scope primarily for investment banking, in which we consult startups in market expansions, and secondly, we help them fundraise capital. So over there, we get a retainer, we get commission. There are a lot of things, revenue sources for us in that single model. So while we were boosting our numbers over there, I did not want to be a mediator anymore. I wanted skin in the game. I wanted to directly invest. So then I raised my $45 million fund, in which I started investing into fintech and gaming companies. And then now I'm launching my own $2 billion fund with first close announcing next month of $500 million. So that's how the journey generally picked up.
Sir, how do you manage to maintain your long-term professional relationships with your clients?
Sorry.
How do you maintain your long-term professional relationships with your clients? How do you manage that?
Give them results. Relation automatically maintain हो जाएगा.
What was the one thing that made you better than others in your field?
I wouldn't say better than others. I would just say that, maintaining that healthy competition. Okay. Maintaining that healthy competition with my competitors, helped me be good enough to stay long enough in the market. The day I stop competing, the day I stop maintaining a healthy competitive relationship, that day my tenure at the market ends.
Hi, I'm Aditya of MBA. I wanted to ask you what your way of people management. You're a leader. There are people who works with you, who works for you. How do you manage them?
I mean, firstly, the best way of people management is be accessible and cut the bureaucracy. Okay? As a leader, you need to be accessible enough for people to reach out to you and for them to be comfortable enough to share the problems that they are facing. And let's cut the bureaucracy in which you route your issue via this, you do that, you do this. Okay. Let's rather just focus on how can I add value? How can I help you grow in your journey? That's what a leader asks first. So people working for you, people working with you, just ask them one thing. How can I help you in your journey to grow? And be accessible enough. That's the biggest people management skill I have learned.
Once again, I have another question for you. How did your bond with your peers contribute to your growth?
I have 3 best friends. Okay? The antiques, I won't say I'll keep it as easy as possible as I'm in school. Okay, but the antics that they pulled off, okay, taught me a lot on what not to do in my professional journey. So I guess I would like them to keep being my best friends because I learned a lot about what not to do from them.
Hi sir, I'm Yash Takkani. My question is, what are the other factors that an investor looks for in a startup, like other than the ideas itself, the idea of the startup itself?
Yeah, I have to be frank about it. Okay, the investor looks at your pedigree. Okay, do you know what's a pedigree? Don't tell dog food, please. Okay, pedigree is basically the background the founder is coming from, which institution, which education, which company, XYZ. Okay, I had none of these. Okay, so what do I need to do? I needed to get people who had these backgrounds to come and work for me. Okay, so that's one of the things that the investor looks at. After that, the investor looks at your execution skills, what you're promising on paper. Do you have the capacity to really execute what you promise, or do you don't? Do you have a track record to execute it or not? So those are some of the pointers that the investor needs.
Good morning, sir. I am Gandhi from SPS RN. I want to ask, if you start a business, how do you handle its pressure?
You can't. You have to just, you have to fix a me time. Okay, a certain me time to yourself in which you have to do activities which help you release the frustration, pressure, whatever it is. Now I like riding cars. Okay, I own 17 cars of mine. I own a Mercedes C300 convertible. I own Discovery. I own a Lambo as well. So I like to ride all of them.
Good morning.
Guys, a bit of
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. I was really inspired by your insights. I'm Bhavya Vikas from class 10E. And my question to you is, how has customer response changed from the beginning until now? What was the factor of your business and what is the feedback? Was it the feedback or was it something else?
I guess now nobody questions my age anymore. I have shown my result, let my result speak for itself. Okay, so customers now don't ask me that you're this, will you be able to balance it out? They know I will prove, I'll provide them the result. So they ask me less questions and they let me do my work.
Good morning, sir. I'm Angel Jaral. And as you have mentioned earlier that there were many investors initially who did not reply to your mails. So now as you are an investor, would you invest and take the risk to invest in young minds and young setups?
I do invest in young minds. Okay. One of the startup that I've invested into, I've invested around $1 million of my own money, around 8 crores. So that founder just turned 19. His birthday was day before yesterday.
Good morning, sir. If I start my own startup, so will you invest in my startup?
Will you pitch it to me right now?
Actually, my second question was, can you give us some startup ideas?
मतलब आइडिया भी मैं दूँ, पैसे भी मैं दूँ.
Yes, sir.
हाँ?
Sir, how would you measure your success? Like, after achieving something, you would say, yes, now I am successful.
I won't think about it. The day I think about it, I'll stop growing. So if you are on your journey to success, stop thinking about it. Just work. The byproducts will speak for itself.
Good morning, sir. I am Arjun Jain from Delhi, and I want to ask that what are the mistakes?
Just a second, guys. Give me some details, please. Thank you. Yes, please.
I want to ask that what are the mistakes that you have made in your journey, and you want that no one should make it in their journey.
The mistakes that I made is one of the biggest mistakes I think I made is not being that social enough. Okay, I was completely work oriented. Like I used to right now also I don't sleep more than 4 hours. 4 hours is the max sleep I get. Okay, I was just telling to Joyce sir as well. I had a 6 a.m. flight over. So I until 3 a.m. was working in my office only. 3 a.m. I slept at my office. I asked one of my colleagues to get my bag. At 5 a.m. I left the office and went to the airport. So it's a lot of work oriented. So I have very limited ways of channels for help or to help me, forget my work. It's good if you're social enough. If you have more channels, who can help you, forget about who can stop giving you a reality check every time. Okay, they can help you forget the reality of the world for some time. It's actually a good thing. So I suggest if you don't have that, don't make a mistake like I do. Okay, try to be social enough as well, but focus on the work at the same time.
Good morning, sir. I'm Vidit from SPS Extension. So my question to you is that 3 years ago, where did you saw yourself, and from 10 years from now, where do you see yourself?
10 years from now, as I told you, how I want to see myself. 3 years from now, I saw myself as a nothing. I did not have the faintest idea I will be able to do any of this. Okay, once this Q&A is done, I was just showing principal ma'am over here, So I am an advisor to Elon Musk's family office. So as well as the Lynn Rothschild family office, I am an advisor to their family offices. So I was just showing principal ma'am that I was in their jet, in ERM jet, and I showed that photo to ma'am. Unfortunately, we can't show it here. It's not on my LinkedIn. It's on my photo gallery. So I was in their jet enjoying. So I did not have the faintest idea I'll even sit in a jet. When I showed that to my parents, they were like, I'm looking to be nature movie.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Kashvin. I'm from Saikiran Extension. I wanted to ask about backups. So what we're told is that to have backups, but what I've observed is that in building backups, people get so indulged that they don't get time to act on their ideas.
So what are your thoughts on this and did you have any methods?
Nice question. Okay, let's see. For me, I was very hungry for this field that I investment banking. Okay, it excites me daily because daily there is some other new problem. Okay, so for me, I had no backup. My plan A was for this to work. Plan B was to make plan A work for the otherwise I'm gone. There's no plan B for me. Okay, but I do not recommend this to everyone. Okay, unless and until you have this hunger to make plan A work. If you have the hunger, you will make plan A work. I don't doubt. You don't need a plan B. Okay, but if you are looking for plan B, that means stop wasting your time on plan B. Okay, yeah.
Good morning, sir. I'm Shafali Ara from SPS Sir, how did you specifically make it possible to cope up with the emotional distress and gain back motivation during your rejections, and how much time did it take?
So emotional distress. So for emotional distress, एक ही चीज करता था. पूरा दिन if my day used to go bad, down I go to my garage and see my गाड़ी है. चलो बात में.
Good morning, sir. I am Krishna Singh. I just wanted to ask you that as you have started your startup in such a young age, so how had you managed to be such focused when you are surrounded with many kind of distractions?
Sorry, what was the last part?
When you are surrounded with many kind of distractions in such a young age, so how you be focused?
See, as I'm mentioning, okay, lot of the questions asked over here. If whatever you're pursuing means a lot to you, the distractions won't even come in front of your eyes. It won't even come in your head. Okay, your hunger to prove things will just keep you driving so badly that you won't do things that time.
Hello sir, good afternoon. My name is Saloni Kumar and I am an MBA student. My question for you is, what financial planning tips would you like to give to MBA students, those who are planning for startup?
MBA student, आप आपने मैं MBA किया भी नहीं.
Sir, you have more experience than us.
See, if you want to start a startup, whatever you have learned in MBA, okay, and no offense to anyone who's teaching MBA or commerce, please, excuse me. Okay, whatever you're learning is great, but when you are coming and trying to, build your own startup, okay, the rules keep on changing as per individual journey. So financial planning or trajectory, they're not the same for everyone. It's completely different. So I cannot give anything in specific about what planning you have to do. It does not work that way.
Good morning, sir. My name is Jayesh Agrawal. Sir, I wanted to ask how to develop sales skill and how to create demand for a product when there is no demand in the market. How to develop the ability to sell a product.
I like this question. What's your name?
Jayesh Agrawal.
Love the question. Clap to this guy. Okay, now the basic thing. Okay, in a human tendency. Okay, there are two human tendencies. Okay, one is a need, one is a want. Okay, need के लिए normal basic कपड़ा, मकान, दवाइयाँ, education, खाना, इतना वो काफी है. Now there is a want, मुझे वो चाहिए. So as long as you're able to help tap into the customer's want mindset, you can sell anything. There's nothing stopping. Yes.
Can you sell specs to a person who does not need it?
मुझे खुद देख लो. I wear specs, I don't need it. I wear it to meetings. ताकि लोग थोड़ा सीरियसली लें. People sold me that. People sold it in such a fashion that it looks good, aesthetically अच्छा लगता है, ये अच्छा लगता है, वो अच्छा लगता है. So they tapped into my want. So they sold it.
Hello sir, this is Bani Kapoor. So I had a question like what made you confident about this field and how did you make your networking so strong?
Yes. Confidence in the sense there's only one way that person balances their confidence. What do I have to lose? Nothing. What do I have to gain? Everything. My confidence came. जब खोने के लिए कुछ नहीं है मैं डरूं किस बात से? या तो 6 लगेगा या तो आउट होके आ जाऊंगा. Confidence came from that. Networking, as I told, being shameless is the key. Do not be afraid what people will think, what others will. It's not your job to think about it. If your job is to get a job done, get it done. By hook or by crook, doesn't matter.
But how just only this field made you so much hungry for that?
I mean, numbers excite me a lot.
Good morning, I am Arunima. So my question is, how do we motivate ourselves to just start? Because there are fear that people don't start anything like they set their mind at. So how to start?
Okay. Is there anything you want to start?
Yes.
What do you want to start?
I want to start my YouTube channel, but
What's stopping you?
I don't know, the fear or like family that they won't allow or anything.
YouTube channel is a way lot risky than way lot less risky than I am doing. Okay, you don't have to sacrifice your education. Okay, what your family will think, they're exploring things. Okay, you gotta be transparent enough with them. You gotta tell them, I'm exploring things. This is what I want to do. There's a probable way. There is 0.1% chance that I get some money from you. Okay, 99.99% आप ही जीतोगे कि मुझे ना आता. ठीक है, पर अगर मुझे आ गया, आपके कोई पैसे खर्च नहीं हो रहे, कुछ नहीं हो रहा, इज्जत मैंने कुछ कमाई नहीं जो खो दूंगा मैं. ठीक है, तो what is there I'm afraid of so badly? Nothing. Go ahead and go for it.
Good morning, sir. I am Raj.
Of failure. Both of them have shaped me what I am now, so I wouldn't change anything. I'd let it be the same way it is. Let me explore.
Hi, Sai. I am Harshil. I am saying that what factors you find in a startup or a business that makes you interested in the business too?
Who does this specs belong to? Your friend? Okay, now he has to buy it from you until then you're not getting it. Sold. He has to buy it, you have to buy it until then he's not getting it. अगर ये अभी तुझे खरीदना पड़ेगा तब तक उसे वापस नहीं मिलेगा ये.
You have to buy the specs from him. Till then, your friend will not get those specs. So now you have to buy it from him. Do you want this?
Do you want it? No. You don't want it? Yes. They are sold.
Sir, but if I would have a pen that belongs to me only, but I want you to sell it, then how you will?
Okay.
There's always a right timing for your sales cycle.
That's your again the next takeaway. There's always a right time. Have you all noted all the best takeaways today? There are at least 20-25 takeaways, which is actually going to be the epiphany of your life. Just watch that. The clear-minded approach, clarity, and a go-getter spirit. I want it, then that's it. I am not distracted by distractions because I am too busy chasing my dream or what I want. So you people are so involved in what others think, how do I please my peers, how do I look, or everything else in the world is taking away from your real focus. So it's like what I take away, my takeaway from today's session is persistent consistency. And you have to be stubborn to get what you want. That's what he meant by saying being shameless. That you have decided to do something, do it. And certain principles and rules of your life, if you remain with that, and I'm sure it's going to be a long way. So first thing is your goal. Be very clear what you want and how do you reach there. You have to carve the path for yourself. And I think it was really a privilege, Sai, to have you here with us. That when we saw the profile on LinkedIn, and I used to talk to Ms. Khushbu, that he is that guy from Unstoppable 21. Look at his profile. Can you get him to our school? Can we make our Sagarites interact? Can we, bring that, maybe 1 point out of all of them, if 10 are inspired, I think it is worth the session. One more question? Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes, please. I mean, that's the spirit, that to clarify as many doubts as you want to.
What was the psychology behind, you told earlier that you buy more time from you said earlier, your scheduled meeting was of 20 minutes and you took 3 hours. So how to get on that conversation and everything?
You gotta do your homework. Homework is a lot of role.
Next takeaway.
Okay, you gotta understand the person you're meeting, whom you're meeting, why you're meeting, and what do they want from you. Okay, understand what they want from you and give it to them. They'll spend as much as time you want.
That is the psychology.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, according to you, we should target a market with large customer and small profit, or large customer and small profit, or a market with large profit and small customers.
You know Rolls Royce? Rolls Royce car. Okay, Rolls Royce car और मान के चल Rolls Royce car on demand पे पड़ता है वो गाड़ी, ठीक है? You know Maruti Suzuki? Okay, Maruti Suzuki, what is the main customer they cater to?
Middle class.
Rolls Royce caters to ultra rich. तो दोनों का वॉल्यूम उतना है. Okay, it's not about कि तुम किसे cater करना चाहते हो. How big is your audience is what you need to see. How big is your market segment? Okay, what's your total addressable? So in our language we call it TAM, total addressable market.
Good afternoon, Sai. I am Vedansh Maheshwari, and I want to ask whether you'll stay abroad after your studies or do you plan to come back to India? What do you think is a better market? Is it US or is it India?
देखो रिकॉर्ड हो रहे हैं, जो जियोपॉलिटिकल टेंशन चल रही है चढ़ गया ना इंटरनेट पे, मैं फंस जाऊंगा. तो I'll be diplomatic about it and I will say I am thinking about it.
Okay.
I think let's put it as he's a global citizen rather than India or China. We all should work on that mindset of being global citizens, because I think boundaries are just meant, where actually there are no boundaries. It's your mindset. One more? Yes.
Good morning, sir. My name is Arif Tiwari. So my question is to you is that as a person who got admission in Stanford as well as being a CEO, how do you manage your time?
Good question. That is also. See, the thing is, I only visit the college for my exams. मैं कॉलेज बस एग्जाम देने के लिए जाता हूँ और वो भी मेरा पास होना फिक्स है. So I go to college basically to give my exams. I'm graduating this November. Okay. Majority of the time I'm working. That's thanks to my board members. They have made that feasible enough for me. Otherwise, doing college and this would be insane.
Sir, so my question to you is that no offense to school, but most of the people today after 10th or after like in the beginning of 10th or where they leave the school and start their own startups. So what do you think that we have to complete our graduation and then do a entrepreneurship or not, or after just 10th?
Nico, see, do not look at few people and think by college dropout kar lenge maza aayega. No, it's not that rosy as it looks. The amount of anxiety we have at that point in time, the amount of nervous breakdown we have at that point in time, it's huge. Okay? So I would prefer you to complete your education. Okay? Do your education. If what you do is greater, okay, it's growing really fast, and your colleagues or your peers around you are suggesting, how about you take 1 year drop and do pursue this and then get back, then that is according to your peers. But do not on your own think looking at people at college dropout is the best. No, it's not that great.
See, for example, you also have Sai himself. Why is he studying at Stanford? Why did he complete his studies there? It would have been, he started his startup at 17, established it here in 5 years, yet he also chose to study and enhance his qualification. So, because that's a necessary area, you need it, and we have to go by it.
Sir, I'm Subitanwani from 11th G. I have a startup idea. I think it's kind of weird, but don't you think that we should create a dating platform for LGBTQ people?
Already there.
For LGBTQ people.
There.
So, do you support LGBTQ?
Like, my personal views won't matter over here. Okay? My personal views won't matter over here. But the platform like that exists.
Sir, but if someone asks you to invest in a weird idea like this, so would you?
It's not a weird idea. See, if it's making money, it's good. Okay? If it's profitable, it's good. My personal views about what I feel about LGBTQ or anything is regardless. I'm a business person.
Okay.
Sir, you have said that we need a USP for like.
Just a second, guys. Can we have some silence, please?
So you have mentioned that we need a USP, a unique selling point for any business or anything in life. So what was your USP in your starting times until date?
I think I've answered that question.
Like, was it only your speaking skills or your programming skills? What was the most efficient?
Was it then the same, what it is now, or there's your US?
There over the period developed as well, along with my negotiation skills. I've become more into my programming right now. I've kept learning about AI and LLMs and base models and everything. So it's exciting that tech will be one of my strengths soon. It's not yet, but yeah, soon.
Good afternoon, Sai. As you said before, that you are really a sociable person. So how did you know that you would do well in your niche? As you have to be very social to do what you're doing.
Can you repeat your question, sorry?
As you said before, that you weren't really of a sociable person. So how did you know that you would do well in your niche? Because you have to be very social to do what you're doing.
So social, there are two perspectives, okay? One is being personally social with people, okay? I don't have a lot of friends. I have a very few handful of friends. I have literally 3 friends, 3 close friends. So personally, I'm very less social. Business, I can be social with anyone. Okay, किसी के सामने बिठा दोगे, I can be social with them.
Sir, as you are now a financial investor, what are the some of the startups that you think will boom in your future?
Gaming startups and AI infrastructure. Gaming startups and AI infrastructure.
Okay. So then I think we are happy with all the questions answered. Thank you so much, Sai. And we're very happy to have you here and Southern Public School. It's a pleasure to have young minds like us who can inspire our young entrepreneurs in the making. So very clear message and beautiful takeaways. We would like to now conclude the session and we'd like to offer